That's funny. The screen of this cogitator shows a scrolling line of repeating techna lingua. Okay. Numerous wires and pipes run to the filthy cages, which are filled with what looks like a conglomeration of human bodies. You cannot make out who is in the cage, but bright blue sparks flash intermittently in the darkness while the mass of flesh twitches and shudders. Heinrichs casts a scrutinizing eye over one of the cages before withdrawing his weapon and approaching to examine what lies inside. Careful, Heinrichs. Look at it. Heinrichs gestures towards the cage closest to you. Through the metal bars you see it truly a pile of human bodies. Or something that used to be. The monstrously deformed bodies have fused together in places, while others were severed using saws and knives, leaving wounds seep in pus and slime. Wounds that are agglutinating and sprouting tendons, rods connected to wires that run to a nearby... Okay, we get it. It's just fucking a mess. Even attempting to speak causes the mutant pain, but he bears the agony and forces out the words, "Mercy. Make it stop." We have a medical check, which we failed. You peer at the pulsating mass of flesh beneath the thin film coating the skin of this monstrous creation. You can see the throbbing veins. That's... Alright. What is this? I'm beginning to have some idea. The Lex Mechanic mentioned the inhabitants of the lower levels who had been imprisoned in their homes. He said some of them were brought here. The cultists did something to those poor people in their own home, and now they are studying the result. The Lex Mechanic talked about some kind of a slag waste disposal and chaos symbols on machines. What are the arch enemy's minions doing to the people of the lower levels? To know the workings of dark sorcery means allowing corruption into oneself. These are warp mutations, no doubt. Perhaps there was some side effect, and that is why they were brought here. To be connected to censors and cogitators, even fallen tech priests who have rejected the Omnissiah, are driven by a perverted hunger for knowledge. Why are they hooked to cogitators? Lingua technis, corrupted by the scrap code. I'm sure it's unlikely we will be able to extract anything of value from their data crypts. You promised us. Who are you talking to? What did they promise you? Who are they? You took us from the inferno. You promised us a reward. Her face contorts in a grimace, and the creature's lips stick together like melted wax. I'll be damned. They can still speak. They remember the people who did this to them. Perhaps a little biomancy will allow us to draw the fragments of knowledge out of them, or it will trigger further changes. If there's something that will make them talk, we must use it. Yes, it is possible another person would refuse to make such a choice, but we can use this situation to help the investigation. Okay. Heinrichs hesitates for a moment, then closes his eyes and raises one hand. You are enveloped by an otherworldly chill. The mass of flesh in the cage suddenly rears up. The mutant wrenches open its glued together lips and begins wailing frantically. The shrieking is echoed by a chorus of howls and tortured moans coming from the neighboring cages. The mutant changes before your eyes. The tumors recede like an ebbing tide, revealing an emaciated female face twisted in agony. The woman gasps for air, stretches her now mobile neck, and exclaims, "Liar! You promised to kill me. You promised me deliverance. Every one of you. Everyone told me to have hope and the pain would go. Accept the truth, for that is hope. My only hope is to be freed from this pain. Please make it so. Make it so." A lump of flesh behind her head shudders and sends out smooth, fat tentacles that cover her wailing face and drag it into oneself. You feel the pressure in your ears from the cage. You hear a steady, almost imperceptible sound that fills you with despair and horror. With a sigh, Heinrich lowers his hand and looks at what the creature within the cage has become, a wetly gleaming mass of meat and gristle that no longer bears any hint of its human origins. It pulses vigorously. And that's it. The laminations of dying people. No, not just that. What it said about hope sounds like a lie of chaos, which it uses to take root in weak minds. I believe the corrupted tech priest repeated this phrase like an echo of what had been instilled in them. Whatever the cult of the Final Dawn is planning, false hope is the key component of their plan. It's a lead, a small one, but still a lead. That's that, then. But do you know what bothers me, Rogue Trader? The number of people here. There are too few. The lower levels are similar. Manufactorums are inhabited by millions. What happened to the rest of them? I know I won't like the answer. Let's go. We still haven't done what we have came here to do. Okay.
This place is steeped in corruption, which means that it must be cleansed with fire down to the last crevice.
Yeah.
Tame your fervor. The intentions of the archenemy, not crush his manifestations without a second thought.
The massive cogitator growls out of the metal bulkheads like a grotesque tumor. A hollow roar sounds from deep within the metal housing. Whatever spurred the computer into action, it has enough power to supply a small command center. As soon as your eyes fall upon the cogitator, you feel a tingling in your temples. Every nuke, every component of the machine radiates a sense of wrongness. One that is difficult to explain, but no less palpable for that. It is as though the construct itself defies the laws of physics and perspective. Heinrich makes a warring gesture, his voice ringing slightly with tension, is threaded with disquiet. "Stop, Magnus. That is a creation of the archenemy. Don't go near it. You have done enough for me and my mission. Don't put yourself at risk now." Okay, but he chooses to do so. As soon as Heinrich takes another step toward the cogitator, it emits a deafening shriek, like hundreds of metal needles driving into a toughened glass. As though sensing the stranger, wincing Heinrich approaches the control panel and bends down toward the screens. Despite the heat clogging the room, you feel an ice-cold breeze. Heinrich is clearly using his psycho abilities to try to fend off the pernicious effects of the chaos artifact. The omniscience grace has not touched this object. This mechanism was not desecrated, but born flawed and unnatural. Iron, most profane. Initiating observation log. Let not fear stand in the path of knowledge. Okay, let's approach the cogitator then. Heinrich is too engrossed in his examination of the control panel to stop you. You draw closer to the side section of the cogitator housing, which has several thick cables running from it. With each step toward the flickering screens, your feeling that the cogitator is watching you with rapidly blinking eyes grows stronger and stronger. Up close, you see that besides the buttons, switches, and toggles, the cogitator casing is also covered in strange writings. We study the screens. We might 55% chance. Okay, the cogitator displays a wall of text on a screen. The string of symbols is a senseless mixture of numbers. formulas and unfamiliar characters. There seems to be no logic to it, and yet there is no doubt that the cogitator is computing calculations on a prodigious scale. Examine the writings on the casing. One glance is enough to tell you that these are chaos runes, within which lurks a grim threat to mind and soul. You hastily avert your eyes, trying to wipe the foul symbols from your mind. We look at the cables. A bundle of cables is coming from the broken side panel of the cogitator. They were clearly added after the machine came off the manufactorum production line. The wires snake along the floor and disappear inside a maintenance hatch that leads to somewhere down below. Step back from the cogitator. You take a step back. Okay. We succeeded a willpower test. You turn sharply away from the screen and you can almost feel invisible shackles falling away. The realization comes a moment later. You are not fighting against your own curiosity, but against someone's malevolent will, which has now lost its hold on you. Keep your distance and wait. A minute passes, then another. You watch Heinrichs examine the cogitator. His eyes scan the screens, his hands darting from the reel to the lever, sometimes hovering uncertainly over the next switch, which immediately receives a coating of frost. At some point you hear his voice, almost a whisper, barely audible above the clanging, roaring machine. Sacrifices, more and more sacrifices every minute. Hecatomb determinans, what? The womb of this cursed machine is down on the lower levels. The auxiliary enumerator controls the system for delivering molten waste under the manufactorum's main building. This cogitator is fueled by the energy harnessed from the thousands of people who are flowing beneath our feet as slag waste as we speak. But I cannot even imagine the reason for sacrificing all these people. It's inconceivable. Now, we know why the fabricator sensor prized this monster so highly. The cursed tech priest and his associates created something that went beyond the limits of the Omniscience power. This machine is designed to process the myriad possibilities using warp sorcery. It has almost finished its task. It predicts the future, Magnus. Quantum computing, I guess. Okay, let's cut the power supply then. Heinrichs fails to stop you in time. Your blow sends the torn cables whipping out in every direction, scattering sparks and droplets of noxious scarlet slime. Wait, did you want to do something, man? Ah! Secrets of the cult. God damn it, dude. Was that too quick? 660 health. Oh, god damn it. Okay, let's do it quickly. Let's just skip to the very end. I thought he was done. Now watch me fail all the checks I passed earlier. Okay. Failed one. Okay, it predicts the future. How is that even possible? Ooh. Do not attempt to gain any insight into the essence of the machines, corrupted by the archenemy at least. Not if you value your soul. I encountered the heretics' mechanical abominations before. To truly fathom their nature is to allow a particle of death into your heart. But the fruit they bear, no matter how abhorrent their instruments, the fruit they bear could be useful. And now you're done. Yes, let's allow the machine to finish its calculations. I wish to know. Callus? Okay. What precisely the cult's minions were so desperate to see in the future. Perhaps if we were to increase the power, it would be finished sooner. We need to stop the cogitator for the sake of the people still alive down there. We need to let the cogitator finish its task, otherwise those thousands of people will have died for nothing. The spawn of chaos has no place in my world. Yeah. I mean, might as well get some points out of it. I don't think I can get any iconoclast passives, but it's something. Rogue Trader, in the name of the Golden Throne, I am requisitioning the population of the lower levels of this manufactorum for the purposes of the Inquisition. The cogitator screens flash and the guttural roar in its depths turns into a frantic shriek that seems to contain the death cries of thousands. Heinrich bends over the keys and flinches as if from an electrical shock. His head snaps back unnaturally, and you see his lips moving. The cogitator lets out a roar that grows louder by the second. Okay. So. It's probably not wise to stack them together against this creature, but let's give it a shot. I'd rather give Heinrichs a turn so we could buff. I missed a free buff, but that's fine. Okay, we survived a hit. Fuck me, bro. Jesus. Well, might as well commit then. Okay, this is a good angle. If we could stun some of them. None were stunned. Oh, brother. Okay. Well. Gonna do this. Okay. Herald of Tzinch. Oh, come on. I'm gonna ult. Nice. Okay. Cassia's next. The officer, actually. Okay. $121. Nice. Good. This guy didn't move at all. So I'm not sure what he does, but I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction of even trying. Great. Heinrichs goes back to the broken down cogitator, spends a while examining the instrument panel, and then disconnects a component resembling a data crypt, which he quickly stows in his cartridge belt. That's what this machine was put into operation for. Countless symbols and numbers containing knowledge of this thing to come. I hope my specialists will find a way to decipher the corrupted code. I hypothesize that my services will not be needed. You are correct, Magus. I am grateful for the help, but unfortunately I must conceal the fruits of our labor from you. As you have seen, my caution is well founded. Restriction recognized as valid. I saw something happen to you, Heinrichs. What happened when you touched the machine? We'll talk about it later, but right now, I must thank you, Magnus. Without your help and cooperation, I doubt I would have reached the depths of Kiavagama and learned the truth behind my agents. Dispatches and reports. I would never have ended up here, and I would never have succeeded in hampering the cult's activities. My business on Kiavagama is concluded. It is time to return to the mission that brought you here to the industrial world. The only thing I'll ask of you is an audience when we return to the ship. Sure. Okay. So that covers everything here. Now to finish off the rest of the dungeon. Whew. We're floating in a bridge. Let's see if I can do this again. No? Okay. But I could still walk. Oh man. Accrued a lot of penalties, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I burned him too much. There's no way around this one. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Well, how do you... Is there a corner I could slip through or something? Apparently not. What if I... Okay. Well, that works. Tech use. This large device is a cargo lift used for transporting parts. The cyber guard is asking for access codes you do not have. Alright. Let's be mindful of that and as we explore.
Darkonus was attacked by Xenos, but stood strong. Is this not a sign that the God Emperor protects his faithful?
It's a sign that the defense of Darkonus was organized relatively effectively. The Drukhari raid is a grueling test for any world to endure.
Hmm? $55%. I'll try one more time, and if we fail, I'm just gonna push through. I think it's a something lore related. This eerie-looking makeshift structure is an altar to Tzinch. Amidst the revolting totems and twisted symbols dedicated to the Chaos God, you notice a string of 9s burned into the metal surface. Okay. Bunch of dead bodies. Demence. Okay, before we start, doesn't seem to be anything else. So, I'm gonna quick save and start this. The tech priest tears himself away from reading his data slate and looks up at you. His respiratory augmetic is missing. Instead, the lower half of his face is covered in deathly pale of artificial flesh. You take note of the multitude of fresh augmetics attached to his head. They seem to have been inserted haphazardly, and pus is seeping from the untreated wounds. I heard your footsteps in the void. You are von Valencius, are you not? Initiating arrest procedure. This unit is using a fabricated identification code which constitutes a grade 4 transgression. Okay. Smile ominously. You are a heretic, are you not? Merely a seeker of knowledge, however, the experiments I have conducted extend far beyond the allowed limits of an ordinary transmechanic tasked with maintaining a planetary Vox array, but ever since I received that strange signal, my ears have been opened to what I had previously considered to be forbidden knowledge. Every night since then I have been tuning my Vox station to that very frequency and listening to the voices. Am I a heretic? The fabricator sensor didn't think so. He conducted inspections, but he did not prohibit my research. Later, when a mysterious visitor revealed the truth to his optics, he came to me once more. I nurtured the scrap code for him in the depths of my mind. It lives there still, eating through my synapses and building new connections that are open to the new knowledge of change. Is freedom heresy? If so, then I am a heretic. The reason for the failure of this unit's operations has been established. You have fallen victim to the cognitive corruption of chaos. Your computing processes has been disrupted. You are defective. Defective? I reveal the truth. I comprehend, just as the Omnissiah commands. Meanwhile, your mind thrashes about within the cage of data vows, so which one of us is defective? Pascal, do you have any preferences regarding the killing of your former tech comrade? Pascal switches to tech lingua, his vox erupting in a series of Dinharic signals. There is no need for secrecy, let him understand. The heretic nods in your direction with a smile. Pascal glances at you with worry and says in Gothic, his voice doubtful, following a voluntary surrender, I will be willing to commute the punishment from the immediate destruction to arrest and isolation, for the purposes of conducting an exhaustive interrogation. A wise decision. The heretic's deranged smile remains on his dead lips. Request denied. Tech comrade, you will have to pull what I know out of my head. Okay. That we shall do. Something like this, maybe? Oh, come on. She gets to go first, so I'm gonna buff her. Okay. Oh, I misread the situation. Okay, well, nevertheless, I'm gonna do this. Well, I might take advantage of this by doing that. To get these out of the way, I'll just go for another one. Okay. We almost have an ultimate, so I'm gonna... Is there a way to get all of them? Apparently not. Okay. Okay. Can he reach for any... Yeah. He could also reduce his armor and dodge. He doesn't have any armor anyway. Okay. Can I land a hit here? 57%. Maybe it's best to finish these. Was close. Okay. Running gun. Finally. Hmm.
I'll do it.
Damn. Okay. I am taking his neural cogitator. The data contained within must be analyzed to supplement the catechism of maintenance and operation. He knows better, so... Reasonable measure. The statement is true. The value of the data justifies the risk. Pascal leans over the corpse, activates the sampling tool on one of his mechandroids, and plunges it into the tangle of augmetics covering the heretic's skull. Okay. Let's try to pull this off, and then continue exploring. We failed. Fuck it. Just keep moving. I think this is better than what he has. Yeah. That's nice. 10 bonus to logic. I think I'll just stick to the gun. Okay. Anything else? Set up a ladder. The wearer's melee attacks against enemies under the effect of exposed weakness decrease the enemy's strength and agility by -10. That's nice. But Pascal is not a melee, nor is Argentus. Where does this take me? Have I been here? Yeah, that's the beginning. Okay. Well, I don't want to go there now, but it's good to know that we have a shortcut, so... Tech use. The car is filled with Refuse, broken pieces of spare parts, lumps of flesh. Okay. What is this? Manual valve, sacred instrument. Okay. Okay, the game saved for me. Something here. Before I go any further, let's see. Okay, we need to remove the obstacle. But my chances are pretty bad. Okay, and that totally fucked him over. But what did we get out of it? If it's not worth it, I'm just gonna reload. I already have that, don't I? Yeah, let's just reload. That's stupid. This place is quite buggy. We got the bridge incident and then this. Whoa. This flag grants the wearer +3 deflection, 15 armor at the beginning of every combat. During the first 3 rounds, the bonus deflection is reduced. 10% armor if the wearer's intelligence is more than 55. Okay, that would be Pascal, right? He has the highest intelligence. So 37. If we equip this, 50. Wow. Sure, we get a dodge penalty, but I think it's worth it, right? +3 deflection, 15 armor. I think it's worth it, so yeah. Especially with these traumas.